and a squirrel stuck its head up, and he hit this squirrel and killed it.
Who, Grant Ted?
Yeah.
I think I remember.
And
hearing about
so
that.
3 or 4 holes later, they get to a par 3. It's got a little brook running in front of it, and there's a turtle there. And Ray Auburn ran over and threw the turtle in the creek, he said, to save.
I forgot the actual cover letter that I had set up. I was in such a hurry. Unless maybe it must be in the car.
Dan,
What?
you sign the book, or you have something else? That sheet of paper, you sign it.
Yeah, well, I must have left that stuff somewhere.
You just get your piece of paper, Brent, and next time you come up, I'll sign it for you.
Well, I got the letter here.
What's in all this stuff?
See if you can find where Joe's card is.
He wants
Coach?
to return
Coach?
the items, but he wants a video.
Yeah, over here it is. God, here it is. Thank
Is it in
God.
there?
Coach.
Here we go.
You dropped something.
Where's Billy? Billy, I wanted to do this personally because I feel
Thank you.
different about it. I wanted you to know I have got copies of what I ran into when I got home. And I have some real problems. There's a set for you, there's a set for Billy. Here are the cards. What I don't understand is why on a Friday afternoon, when Betty, everybody knows Betty is blind in one eye and can't see out the other, and a gentleman comes up with very good intentions, but to her, not even knowing who it is, coming up there. Then having a letter come in at the same time that I opened later after I got home, they gave us the option of mailing these back in, and at the same time told us to turn them over immediately to security. That's what I don't understand. As you can see on the cover, where'd he go?
He was sitting right there talking.
Joe?
Okay.
What I don't understand is if it happened to Robert Eccles, who I went and talked with, his wife Jennifer, you know, he didn't know you. I wonder what Robert Eccles would have thought. Really, I'm saying this to you directly. The concern about the government property with badges are one thing that I understand. What I want you to do is do me the courtesy of sitting down and let me point out to you where government property from this organization is being used for private business beyond its irrefutable facts. And Billy, also what you're doing, you're changing government records because you're getting notes from Griscom and Seifert to bill for secretarial support, for mailing and that kind of stuff. And then you're turning around and you're billing PTEC to TAD, used to be, you're billing them for restoration fees. That's not government record, that's not according to rules the way I understand it. So there's some serious implications here. And what I'd like to do is to settle this issue with Mr. Robinson. Let's go get the computers of Guy Griscom and Seifert that are on campus here and have them investigate and find out if the courses are on there. Secondly, behind the shadow of doubt, I don't see how anybody who's been helping Sands and Guy gain their personal business over the years and been editing and doing things in courses, I can't see any way in the world that those courses are not on company computers here, government property. That's a penal code violation. It's a penalty. Over the years, it adds up. So it can be a serious thing.
We're getting ready
Yeah.
to start this meeting, so we probably need to all get in our seats. Include this now. I appreciate
Any
your
questions?
concern. Thank you for the returning of the visitor's tags. Thank you.
Did you sign one of those things, the little sheets, or did I give
No, you didn't bring one. You said you'd bring it next time.
the sheets? Why don't y'all sign it?
You will have a problem. You ever do this? I'm gonna do this so you can just mark
Under your ready, Robert, be sure you contact me. Thank you.
Start time, son.
These are things. These are. Hey, if you got time, bring in the song.
Ready? All right, we'll call this meeting to order. It's a regularly scheduled meeting of the Board of Directors of the Harris County Presidency. We're actually about 2 minutes early. It's 9:28. I think everybody will forgive us. If you would please stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. Thank you. Roll call, please let the record show all members are present. And review and approve minutes of regular meeting January 16. Do I hear a motion? I so move. And a second? Second. All in favor? Aye. Review and approve the minutes of the special meeting of January 28th. Do I hear a motion? So moved. And a second? Second. All in favor? Aye. All right, motion's carried. Mr. Robinson, we have employee service awards?
Sure, we have number 30.
30 year awards. And we also have recognition of employees of the month.
I joined the district February 1st, 1993 as an operations support specialist in residential property, and she has worked very hard and gone through all the training, and now she is a supervising appraiser resident. Yvonne, we appreciate you. And we have two 25s. We'll ask Susan LaFeste to come up first. Susan told me I'd better not embarrass her.
She's gonna let me do that, right?
But I want to read y'all something. There's nobody at HCAD ever has been better at working with property owners than has been Susan. And here's an email that we just, we got this on the 18th from a property owner, and I felt it might be appropriate to read it. It said, "It's too easy to simply type a quick email to Margie Taylor. Susan LaFeste deserves so much more than 144 characters. She was so super a few years back in addressing my concerns about property valuation. What impressed me most were not only her quick responses, but also the precision with which she answered my questions. Now that I'm turning 65, it's been Susan's help that has enabled me to file the appropriate forms to receive all the benefits to which I'm entitled. As a marketing professor, I share with my students the importance of showing appreciation for those who take care of you. I tell them about the service attitude of HCAD and how it's exemplified through the support from Susan LaFeste. Please make sure she knows how much she is appreciated, even if it's from one old aging geezer." Deborah Scott. And Deborah, well, I didn't give the details on Susan. Susan came to work for us February 1st, 1988, and she's in our public affairs division now. She's a public affairs officer. She also backs up Teresa Terry as the assistant taxpayer liaison officer. Deborah Scott joined us February 8th, 1988 as a clerk in the clerical operations division, which no longer exists, as we merged all those functions into the various operating divisions, and today she's an Operations Support Specialist 3 in residential property. Deborah, we appreciate you. And we have 4 30-year awards today. As Cliff Hart2, if he would come up first. Here's Cliff. Cliff joined the district on January 20th, 1983 as a production control clerk in what was then called the Electronic Data Processing Division. He is now the ADP supervisor in our Systems Division. And Cliff, we appreciate you and all your many years of hard work. Thank you. Robert Brown. Before I read this, the biographic data on Robert, I would like to say that he is, in the last couple of years, has been in charge of corrections in the personal property division. And one of the greatest challenges that we frequently had was in getting those corrections, the backlog worked through. And he has just done a yeoman's job with that. And that particular function is current, and it's in better shape than it has ever been in HCAT's history. Robert started his career with HCAT on January 31st, 1983 as an appraiser trainee at the old Region 1. And as I noted, he now manages the corrections section in the Business and Industrial Property Division. And Robert, thank you for all that you've done. Melanie Holt. Melanie started with HCAT on February 7th, 1983 as a records clerk in the Records Maintenance Division. And today she is a Geographic Information Specialist 2 in the Information and Systems Division. And that group just does wonderful work and produces some marvelous tools that we're able to use to make our overall appraisal efforts more accurate. Melanie, thank you. We appreciate you. Melanie is also on our emergency response team. You know, she's carrying a radio, so if somebody has a heart attack, she can go to go save them. And last but not least, Vincent Venora. Vincent started with HCAT on February 17th, 1983 as a junior appraiser of the old Region 1. He, for a time, headed our exemptions group and now is an appraiser 3 in the Review Appraisal Division. And we'll ask all 4 of you to remain up here for a group picture. First, Melissa Soto from Appraisal. Nancy Rash from Information Systems. Clarette Walker from Support Services. And Robert Ripley from Administration.
Jim, I'll tell you, you need to be over here by Melissa, because she's hollering everybody in the building. We can sit it.
Thanks,
in case I haven't said this before, that is the most enjoyable part of this job, is handing out those awards. Congratulations. All right, comments from members of the public. Any person wishing to address our board on matters within our jurisdiction may speak. You'll have 3 minutes to speak if you've not appeared at any of the board proceeding meetings, or if your comments relate to an item for action on our agenda. You have 1 minute if you appeared at any of the board proceeding meetings, and your comments do not relate to an agenda item. So, if anybody would like to speak to us, please tell us who you are, sir.
Eric Poston.
How are you?
Good morning, everybody.
What can we do for you? Now, I'm having trouble hearing him. Can we crank that up a little bit?
Okay, can you hear me?
No, but I don't hear well, so let him crank it up a little bit, so maybe I can hear. All right, try again. Let's go.
Okay, I'd like to open this with a little something I read many years ago, a quote from Thomas Jefferson. I think it's somewhat appropriate in all, covering all government and governing bodies. He said, never trust your government. Those entrusted with power will in time, and by slow operation, pervert that power into tyranny. It is believed the best way to prevent this is the enlightenment of the minds, as far as is practical, of the public at large. Jim Robinson is stepping down shortly. Coach Hart and Betty Lee, they're not getting any younger. They've been fighting tirelessly as members of the public to make sure that this organization is kept fair and that the taxing out there is fair for everybody, for the public. Very few people do what they've done. Matter of fact, I don't think there's anybody in the state that have fought like Coach and Betty Lee. He has some ideas for the replacement of the new head, which would be to get some public input, some taxpayer input on the board that picks the new director. So I would like to read some points that could be incorporated into this body to come up with a more fair appraisal situation. And some of the cornerstones are these. Establish a Texas equal and uniform home appraisal manual. Establish a small claims court tax appeal to ensure cost-effective tax appeal for all. Establish a homeowner's checklist to guide owners to all tax savings possible. Establish one source for all legal tax opinions in Texas, that being the Texas Attorney General. And establish transparency of all value changes after January 1st appraisal district, best guess and the reasons for each change. Appraisal district shall maintain and post all changes without need for open records requests. And establish portability of earned home appraisal cap benefit, which will be a win-win for homeowners, taxing units, and will boost the Texas economy. And so those are some of the positions that he thinks we should take. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you. How are you, sir?
Good morning, everybody. Thank you for allowing me to come and speak before you. I am Al Vera. I used to be on the board of, or rather on the ARB for years 07, 8, 9, 10, and 11. I have purposefully waited 1 full year to come before you with my request. And here it is. When I first joined the board, or ARB, our chairman was elected by the ARB members. In the later half of my tenure on the ARB, someone, I don't know who, selected the chairman for us. My comments are not to be construed as criticism or anything like that of past chairman or present chairman. All I'm getting at is, in keeping with the way we do things in this country, we let our groups elect their own chairman. Much as, I didn't know when I came here, but I was reading the minutes, much as the chair of the board is elected by the members of the board. So all I'm asking, and I have no personal interest in this, that's why I waited a full year, right? I just think it's the right thing to do, to let the board, the ARB members elect their own chair. And I'm just asking you to give that serious thought and maybe you'll come to the same conclusion I have come. Thank you all very much. I appreciate it.
Thank you, sir.
I say greetings to everyone in the audience, and the audience certainly is very
Please
talented.
speak to the microphone, Mr. Hart.
I say greetings to the whole audience, and particularly to the honorees that were honored previous to this time. I want to introduce to you, of course, Betty Lee. You know her well, and Jennifer Cowder here. What we have is trying to, you speak to the agenda again, Mr. Peters, you know, so we get 3 minutes
Sure, which item?
on the program and the reorganization or the review of the organization and the succession of the
Sure,
chief
go
revenue.
ahead.
Okay, first thing I'd like to do is to play for you the tape, and I'd like to have Ms. Crowder be the person using her time to accomplish that. Is that all right?
I'm sorry, I didn't understand.
I'd like to use the time to play an excerpt from a tape of a meeting of this board for about 3 minutes and use her time, not my time.
But you can do anything you want with your
Okay.
time.
Is it okay if I play it?
Yes.
All right, here we go.
Request by Coach Hart that each council board public access to public records.
How is it all right?
This letter is written on behalf of their client, Dan Hart, Coach Dan Hart. In the interest of property owners and taxpayers, Coach Hart sought to comment on proposed new state licensing rules on trained appraisers who work for appraisal districts such as HCAP. The proposed rules of the Texas Commission on Licensing and Regulations, TCLR, listed specific training courses by name that appraisers will be required to take.
Thank you very much. Now, of course, Betty is not able to,
Are you starting your time now?
well,
We're on my time, we are.
you were trying to speak a minute.
Now, we've been through this before.
Okay.
I'm Betty Hart,
Yes, ma'am.
and last night, we must have had at least a dozen phone calls from people that had told us they were coming to the meeting today, and then they backed out because they are afraid of HCAD.
Why would they
Every
be?
one of them said they were afraid of what HCAD would do to them if they even showed up for the meeting. Bobby Joe Cassell is one of them. He used to come, and he's afraid to come anymore.
I have no idea why that would be.
Well, ask some of the other, that's Jim Robinson and all of them, and the ARB, because he used to come, and now that, ooh, I hit the wrong button. But anyway, the other thing is that they should put on the committee that is going to do all this work on it. They should put John Rosenbaugh and Coach Dan Hart, which know a lot about the appraisal district. And if they don't put them on, it just approves to other people that y'all are afraid to put them on the board. Have other people give any information to them.
Is it
Okay,
if I
now
do
can I
one
play
thing?
my record? Okay.
Give me a kiss. All right,
He did come.
this is the only coach. We tried Rice and we tried U of H, we tried St. John's and everybody. They all had excuses about not showing up. I cannot understand, like I told you, Glenn, in the back of the room the other day about how,
No, wait. Whose time are we
I'm
using
on
now?
my time. My time's not over yet.
Then if you would please speak.
Well, I did.
So are you
And I'm
done?
playing the recording now.
we've already got it played. That's all right.
That all, do we need to play?
Yeah. What I want to do is take my 3 minutes. You ready?
I'm ready.
Okay, here we go. Thank you very much. Just like kickoff time again. What I want to do is to stop this beaver pond taxation that we're in from district to district. And I want an honest answer to why we taxpayers cannot participate in a committee. We need that. Every school I know of, every organization, when they look for some search to find somebody to take over and review the organization, they talk for parents, teachers, everybody gets in on it. What I want to do in the last couple of seconds, I wish I had time to read it, but it's in your packet. It's an email trail that irrefutes, it makes no question left as to P-tax relation. When Mr. Robinson chastised myself and Bill Elshire, my attorney, about not understanding how PTAC is supported by Harris County Appraisal District, it's obvious. The checks are written for services provided by HCAD to support the private business of the writers of the courses. No one, Mr. Robinson, is saying that Sands and Guy write the courses here on campus. But I would be very much interested in looking in the computers and seeing the data that's on their company computers, and also seeing the data that's on the computers of the technicians that assist them. That is government property. I was chastised, and Betty was scared out of her living wits by an inappropriate action by this district. Joe came out, who's a good friend of mine, but Betty didn't know him, and she hardly can see. When he knocked on the door and wanted back 2 visitors passes immediately, and she didn't have them, she didn't know what was going on. That is the kind of government scrutiny that I want on the computers, on the staff, their time. This document irrefutably states that CFER goes to Austin to set up and work with PTAC. There's no question about it. It's an interlocking organization between PTAC, TAD, HCAD and the comptroller, Debbie Cartwright. Read the document very carefully. Of course, you have to start from the back forward in an email scenario. What I want to do is, like I told you at the very beginning, level the Lake of Texas, do it intelligently, and provide taxpayer help. It's the big boys, Lynn Rosenthal with Vincent and Elkins, who is under real scrutiny now. And if he knows all the tricks of the trade, that's what I want in that booklet, the checklist, how to lower your taxes. We have to have a general appraisal manual that's consistent, because without that, we don't have a level lake.
Thank you, Mr. Hart.
And we are also issuing challenges to board members of past, present, and
Your
current.
time is up, sir. Thank you very much.
And
for your
anybody
comments.
who wants me to talk to him privately, I'll be happy to do
Mr.
so.
Hart, thank you
Thank you very much. You've been very courteous today, Glenn. And can I extend apology for Betty for her eyesight? Remember that last time when?
I appreciate your comments, sir. Your time
Yeah,
is up.
okay.
Thank you
Well,
very
I'll
much.
tell her you didn't mean it like the Nazi comment. Thank
sir.
you.
Would anyone else like to address